Alrighty, let's go spoil this party.
Okay, there's a new
Like a
event
wrecking
coming up
ball.
for our contestants.
Okay. Okay, I was gonna try and steal, but there's somebody right there.
Going in.
Endings are about to get a bit more explosive.
Yeah,
And
it works,
contestants that
for
are
sure.
eliminated in the arena will go kaboom.
Did I get the steal?
Yeah, you did. Good job. I'm missing it. Oh, dang. I think as long as everyone stays busy and doesn't steal it back, we got it.
Go, boy.
Raccoon, I killed level cap.
Yeah, same.
No, they took it back.
G'day, Rockhound here! You are watching the finals beta gameplay, fresh from a behind-the-scenes playtest event that I was invited to, along with other content creators, members of the gaming press, and a handful of our chosen teammates. During the event, we were introduced to the beta preview version of the finals by the Embark Studios developers. Then we played the game for about 2 hours, with Embark allowing us to record and share the footage with you here. In this video, I will give you details about the game and my first impressions of the beta preview build, while I throw some gameplay up for you in the background. I've also uploaded a second video today showing extended gameplay highlights from the preview playtest, so you can get my impressions and a bit of gameplay in this video and watch the extended gameplay in the other one. And if you didn't catch my announcement already, I am running a top plays of the finals closed beta competition through the playtest. There's a fabulous Steam voucher for the top moment up for grabs, along with some slick Rockhound Black merchandise with my new logo for the top 3 plays. To enter, send the YouTube link of your crazy moment from the finals closed beta to rockhoundblack+clips@gmail.com, and be sure to look out for my compilation video not long after the end of the closed beta. I aim to continue that competition every week when the game releases as well. I'm so excited to see all your insane in-game moments. Check out my video about that competition for more information. Speaking of giveaways, be sure to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Twitter, because I'll be dropping game keys for the closed beta throughout the 2-week playtest period. Thanks to Embark Studios for providing those keys to me. If you weren't already aware, the finals closed beta is running for 2 weeks from March 7th to 21st, so be sure to head over to Steam to sign up for a chance to join the playtest. There's a link in the video description below. Now, without a doubt, the finals is an ambitious and innovative take on the FPS genre. In the words of the Embark Studios developers, it is a free-to-play, team-based, first-person shooter that pushes environmental dynamism, destruction, and player freedom to the limits. The Embark team sees the finals as a game show at heart, which means it's all about having crazy FPS fun with contestants that you have built the way you like. The game's maps are set in iconic places around the planet, such as Old Town Monaco on the French Riviera and downtown Seoul, Korea. These are the 2 arena-style maps we played during the event, and I'll talk more about them in a bit. When you first start the finals, you watch a brief tutorial about the game, which is really good. So let's watch it now.
Congratulations. You're on the finals. It's the big league, the greatest virtual game show on the planet. So, we know you watch our show, and that means you already know what to do. Build your contestant, enter the arena, find the vault, grab the cash box, and take it to a cash out station. Defend against attacks and steals. The team with the most money wins. Stay sharp, stay healthy. June, let's get started.
Let's pump the brakes. Scotty, we shouldn't throw new contestants into the action and in front of the billions of viewers who plug in to watch without a bit more information. I'll take it from here. This is the backstage. It's where you choose how you want to play by selecting a specialization and loadout. It's also where you choose how you want to look. This is how our fans will see you, so be sure to express yourself. There are 2 ways to compete. A single match called Quick Play, where the winner takes all, or a tournament with multiple rounds where you need to avoid being knocked out. Either way, you will play in a team of 3. You may want to adjust your loadout to complement that of your teammates before you head into the arena. You will be playing cash out. Basically, you need to find a cash box and insert it in a cash out station. That's how you get to the top of the leaderboard. Of course, it's not quite that easy. Ready to see what you'll be facing? First, try to find a vault. An unopened vault will contain a cash box. Grab the cash box and go to a cash out station. Stay alert and work as a team to get there. A cash out takes time to complete, and other teams can try to ambush you and steal your cash out, so set up defenses. There are many ways to play, but it all comes down to one thing. If you control the cash out station when the countdown ends, you get the cash, and the team with the most cash wins the match. In the finals, our arenas are destructible, so be sure to use your specialization and whatever you find in the arena to your advantage. It's a game show, so we're going to make it interesting. When you hear this noise, be prepared for anything. Meteor showers, low gravity, you name it. Our arenas are ultra-dynamic. It can be a sunny afternoon in one match and a stormy night in the next, so adapt by making changes to your loadout. As a new contestant, you are definitely going to turn into a pile of coins a few times. Learn the ropes, stick with it, and fans will love you. Time to go get famous. Good luck.
It's a pretty good introduction, right? But let's add a little more info to that. When you find a vault, you interact with it to start the unlock timer, which takes just under 20 seconds to finish. You then carry the cash box in parkour style to a cash out station, usually located about a quarter of the map away. Once you place the cash box in the cash out station, your goal shifts to defending that location until the cash out timer has ended after about 2 minutes. If you manage all that, your team banks the cash. Sounds simple, right? Well, there's more to it. If your team doesn't have a cash box to deposit, you can steal another team's cash box instead.
Everybody be cool, this is a robbery!
This all results in fierce, highly chaotic, and at times absolutely mind-blowing battles around the cash out station locations, or cash boxes that are being transported to a cash out station. In addition, the environments see varying times of day, weather conditions including rain and fog, and in-game events such as meteor showers, low gravity, or even having the bodies of opponents you've killed explode shortly after you've taken them out in an event called the Dead Go Boom. During the playtest, we played both game modes, Quick Play, which is the individual rounds of around 8 minutes each. We played that mode for about an hour and a half, familiarizing ourselves with the updated version of the game since the closed alpha back in September last year. Quick Play was followed by a single round of the ranked tournament mode. Our team made it through to the second round of the tourney before we were knocked out. The playtest was long enough for me to get a good feel for the updated version of the game compared to the closed alpha back in September. It also gave me a good look at how the monetization for the game will work through weapon skins and character customization, which I'll talk about later in the video. On top of all this, the chaotic gameplay is put on steroids by having an almost fully destructible environment. Buildings, walls, trees, windows, lampposts, you name it, it can be destroyed. This makes for situations where just when you think your team is going to get to a hot cash out station to make a steal, the defending team switches tactics and brings the house down with a cacophony of C4 and RPG explosions. I'm going to give you my thoughts on how the finals beta played at the preview event in just a moment. In fact, I will provide several videos going into a lot more detail about various parts of the game following this one, so please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. But first, let me just say that the game runs amazingly smoothly for a beta build. I noticed no issues with frame rates, rubber banding, lag, or any of that, which is especially great considering I was playing on a North American server from New Zealand, probably with a ping of around 150 or more. In case you're wondering, the gameplay you're watching was recorded using a 3080 Ti GPU with all settings on epic and ray tracing on but set to low. I didn't want to feel like I was being too over optimistic. The finals is technically super solid for a game at beta stage, something that Embark Studios should be commended for. So, how have Embark achieved map-wide destruction without facing these kinds of issues? Well, they aren't letting us into all their technical wizardry secrets, but they have directly said that they have essentially unlocked what the Embark team describes as the holy grail for FPS games by having server-side destruction and movement. This means that any destruction you see, every other player will see exactly the same thing. It results in a level playing field for everyone and opens up the chance for us to literally level the playing field with unprecedented levels of destruction. Fantastic stuff. The environment looks excellent, especially for a beta version of the game, with only a minor number of times I noticed odd textures, like a ramp that was wet when the rest of the arena was pretty dry, for instance. The finals environment aside, let's take a look at the game's UI, known as the Backstage, which up front I am super impressed with for its ease of use, and praise the gaming gods you could access all of the UI menus while you are matchmaking. The only thing you apparently can't do while matchmaking is purchase an item from the store. Down the track, I'll create a complete beginner's guide to the finals, including a full walkthrough of the Backstage. Let me know in the comments below if there's something in particular that you'd like to see in a beginner's guide. For now though, let's just take a quick look at each section in the Backstage. Firstly, on the Backstage main page is the play button leading you to all the action. This currently gives you the option of the single round quick play mode, ranked tournament mode, the tutorial which we've watched already, and I was delighted to see a practice range which I'll take a look at later in the video. On the left we have some store items, more about monetization shortly. On the right here, the number of battle pass credits you have, then your current career rank, friends that you've connected with here, and settings in the top right. The settings section is easy to use, although it still needs a few options added to it, like additional keybinds for instance. However, I found making changes to things like mouse sensitivity and graphics settings super easy. Then we have your contracts to unlock XP, your current battle pass status, and then under that contestants, where you can alter your contestants loadout and look. Let's take a look at that because it'll be important for the closed beta. In the build of the game that I played, you can fashion your own contestant to have them look and play as you like, and to save a few variations of them. Bear in mind that the following may change even before the closed beta starts or during the 2-week playtest period itself, as the Embark Studios team pushes out patches for the game. Overall, there are 3 builds to choose from: light, medium, and heavy, and each build comes with its own weapons, gadgets, and specializations. For the beta, 2 of the specializations are already unlocked, and 1 can be unlocked through progression. The light build moves the fastest with specializations that allow for hiding and evasion. The medium build provides support by detecting and targeting opponents or by healing teammates, and is probably the most typical FPS character. The heavy build is the tank of the team. They secure and defend positions, smash through enemy lines, and can fortify or demolish as a specialization. Each build can choose 1 specialization, 1 weapon, so there's no secondary weapons, which I now think suits the game, and 3 gadgets. The gadgets provide a much wider range of choices than they did in the closed alpha. The light build has 3 specializations to choose from: a cloaking device, which is a temporary cloaking mechanism that makes you hard to see when moving and invisible when motionless. The grappling hook allows you to scale structures and swing past walls, allowing you to cross the map quickly and get on top of structures fast. The swinging ability of the grappling hook is new compared to the straight line movement it had during the closed alpha version of the finals. The evasive dash is unlocked through progression, and it allows you to make a few quick dashes to get places fast or dodge out of the way. For a weapon, the light build has the choice of a V95 semi-automatic silenced pistol, an assassin's dagger, a Mach 11 machine pistol, a sawed-off shotgun, an LH1 semi-automatic rifle, a sniper rifle, or a katana sword. Then you can choose 3 gadgets or explosives from a collection that includes a thermal vision device which reveals your opponent's heat signatures, breaching charges, a proximity sensor, incendiary goo, gas or frag grenades, a flashbang, or a glitch grenade. The stun gun seen here in the recent trailer is an unlockable device. The medium build has 3 specializations to choose from, which were greatly changed from the closed alpha. A healing beam gun, which rapidly restores your teammates' health. This device was actually massively OP in the build that we played, but more about my impressions of the game shortly. A guardian turret, which is a deployable AI-controlled assault rifle, and recon sensors, which makes targets visible through structures for a limited time. For a weapon, the medium build has the choice of an automatic AKM rifle, a repeater rifle, a 357 Magnum, a pump-action grenade launcher, and an unlockable riot shield. Then you can choose 3 gadgets from a collection that includes a zipline that you and other players can use, night vision, explosive and gas mines, a jump pad, a defibrillator for rapid revives, sonar grenade, incendiary goo, gas, frag grenades, a flashbang, and a glitch trap that prevents your opponents from using their gadgets. Unlockable gadgets are a tracking dart and an anti-projectile system turret that during the closed alpha was actually part of the heavy build's gadgets. Now the heavy build has 3 specializations, which include the charge and slam, which previously was actually 2 separate specializations that allows you to either propel forward in a burst of speed, smashing through walls and other objects, or if activated in the air, it becomes a ground slam that causes destruction beneath you and deals damage to opponents. The goo gun, which is a defensive weapon, we've seen a lot of that previously. A mesh shield or Reinhardt shield for the Overwatch fans, which is an unlockable specialization that is a projected shield that blocks attacks from the front and creates a shoot-through cover for teammates. For a weapon, the heavy build has the choice of a sledgehammer, a flamethrower, an M60 LMG, an SA-1216 semi-automatic shotgun, and an M32 grenade launcher. For the heavy, you choose 3 gadgets from a collection that includes night vision, explosive mines, incendiary goo, gas, frag grenades, a flashbang, a deployable barricade, and C4 explosives. Incendiary mines and a dome shield are unlockable gadgets for the heavy. Now you might have noticed this reserve section in the loadout. This is currently only used in tournament mode and allows for you to switch up your loadout between rounds. Personally, I would like to see the reserve section become available for all game modes and accessible when you're respawning. So if a match isn't going well, you have the opportunity to change tactics and weapons while you're waiting to respawn. This would mean you don't have full access to all gadgets, specializations and weapons, but you can still change things up part of the way through the round. This also gives me an opportunity to talk about revives. When you die, your contestant turns into a blue statue. Enemy statues are red. Your teammates can then revive you either with a slow revive or with the medium build's defibrillator, which is much quicker. If your teammate can get to you safely but doesn't think it's safe to revive, they now have the option to pick up your statue and move it to a safe location where they can then revive you. This is something that you couldn't do in the closed alpha. From the contestant section, you can also choose how you want your contestants to look from head to toe. Being a free-to-play game, the developer's income has to come from somewhere other than you forking out $60 or more for the game, and character styles, weapon skins, poses, and emotes are going to be that source of income for the finals via a battle pass system and store. The current build of the game includes extensive character costume and accessory choices, from simple activewear outfits to ballerina tutus to cute little Nama Tamagotchi charms to bundles like this great-looking urban operative outfit. There's also an extensive range of weapon skins which individually also come in a variety of colours. I'm actually pretty impressed by the choices on offer for the closed beta. This Polished Pyrite RPG looks like it might end up in my kit, but who's keen on the Sledgeo pop for smashing your opponents in the face with? It even comes with your own charm mount. Presumably, like many battle passes, there will also be a handful of outfits that you can simply grind to buy. There's no indication of the actual value of the battle pass or items in the store yet, so that remains to be seen, and I expect at some point soon, Embark Studios will provide us with a full guide to how the currency and XP systems work. Bottom line though, you simply get what you pay for and there's no loot crates, which is great. Being a closed playtest, most customizations earned during the next 2 weeks won't carry over to a proper release of the game, but it's my understanding that items marked as permanent here will carry over into the release of the game, which will make for some cool in-game mementos. Below the battle pass, we have the career profile, which shows the items you've earned and your rank based on your tournament results. Currently, there's simply bronze, silver, and gold, but the scroll bar here suggests that more may be added in the future. The overview and history tabs weren't functioning in the build for the beta preview that I played. The practice range is a welcome addition, and it's a small area that allows you to hone your skills with all the weapons, specializations, and gadgets. It also provides some basic enemies to use for target practice and a variety of in-game explodables, like these cool gas canisters which fly off and explode when you hit them. You can also melee the top of them to knock the valve off, and they explode faster. Now, once I've had time to play for an extended period during the closed beta playtest, I'll provide a full review of the game for you, but let's bust through my first impressions of the beta version of the finals that I played during this preview. Firstly, as I mentioned before, the game runs super smooth, something Embark should be really proud of, especially considering they are pushing technical boundaries with destruction and movement both being server-side. The two maps, Old Town Monaco and Seoul, Korea, are very different from one another. Monaco is a series of tight alleyways and historic houses surrounded by parkland, which makes for lots of close quarters gunfights and defending houses while you wait for a cash out to complete. The Seoul map is a sprawling series of skyscraper rooftops and modern upper levels and balconies, balconies with built-in jump pads that propel you between the buildings. We found ourselves defending and attacking single rooftop areas a lot of this map. I really like both maps and how different they are from each other. Also, if you want to know what happens if you jump off one of the buildings on the Soul map, here's me finding out so you don't have to.
I got it.
Big splash.
Cashing out.
Ahead of the line.
Overall, the gameplay was a hell of a lot of fun. There were moments where we were knee-deep in insanely frantic and chaotic battles over a cash-out station area as we either defended our potential score or did our best to stop another team's scoring and steal theirs. There were many times when I had to just back off, not only to restore health, but kind of assess what was going on overall. Then at other times, like in the opening of this video, you just had to become single-minded and run for the cash-out station and try to make a steal while the other players fought it out around you, almost catching them unaware. Moving around the map was also really fun because there's so many ways to do it, either by jump pad, zip line, or simply just running upstairs and vaulting over walls. One feature that was hinted at in the trailer was the addition of fire playing a more significant role in the game, and this is definitely the case. There are multiple ways to set things on fire, from the flamethrower, which you can just go berserk with, to incendiary devices or explosive objects around the map. Fire can propagate across map areas and burn down trees and injure you if you get too close to it. I'd consider this feature to currently be in an alpha state, but it's really impressive. You can see here in the practice range where I've set some explosive canisters on fire, how it burns on the trees, knocking them down over time. The damage from fire does need a bit of tweaking, but it's a very cool addition to the game. Being a beta version of the game, the finals is not without bugs, but they were relatively few and far between. As a few examples, here I started to spectate Demeister just as he respawned, and for some reason his headless body runs off without me and crosses the screen in a very strange manner. Sometimes you couldn't pick up cash boxes for a moment or two because the interact prompt wouldn't appear right away, and when starting the game, the transition from your team running along the tunnel to jumping into the game is a little glitched, and in this screen capture you can see that for a split second I could actually see beneath the Monaco map. There were other minor things that needed tweaking, like the grappling hook doesn't always let you go through a window even if you've aimed right next to it. These are all things that I'm sure Embark will be working on right away. The gunplay in the game is super solid, with the Embark team really showing off their depth of their past FPS experience. I was particularly happy to see that the heavy build's M60 LMG was really well balanced in this build compared to the Alpha. Balancing in the game overall though is probably the thing that actually needs the most work. Aspects of the scoring, like losing half your score for a team wipe, seemed overly harsh, and many of the weapons need balancing as well. The health gun was crazily OP. I even saw a meta develop where one team member would run around behind a heavy build who had a sledgehammer, healing them, and they would become virtually invincible. But I hear that the devs are already working on this. Destruction in the game is a lot of fun and pretty realistic. It really takes destruction in an FPS to amazing new levels. It's crazy to be in the middle of a gunfight and have the buildings collapsing around you as you fight to make your way to a cash-out station. However, I do think a lot of players who played games like Battlefield 1, for instance, will find the destruction to feel a bit different and may think that it could be ramped up even further. Weapons like RPGs and grenade launchers will need to hit the correct parts of buildings to have the greatest impact on them, and this will be a skill that might take some players a bit of time to relearn. A wide range of weapons, gadgets and specializations combined with map-wide destruction is going to offer an enormous variety of ways to play the game, and that should give the game a high skill ceiling, which is great, but as a result there is a risk that new players could be put off the game by having to constantly play against teams with highly skilled players. Newbies in games like this are always going to face that problem, and I don't know exactly what the solution is, but maybe Embark need to consider giving them the option to play against other new players when they're just starting out, so kind of a self-selected skill-based matchmaking. Anyhow, I'm interested to see how Embark handles a potentially high skill ceiling. The Finals is already a unique FPS game with the levels of destruction on offer, but I think Embark Studios have something amazingly special at their fingertips if they can complete some solid balancing of the scoring, features and weapons in the game. This closed beta is going to be an excellent introduction for a lot of people to a new style of FPS game. The press and content creators who attended the preview event, me included, have already provided Embark with a heap of feedback. With the same thing from the wider community during this closed beta and a continuation continuation of the great work that has been completed between the closed alpha and now, which is clearly a result of the devs taking on board lots of feedback from the community already, Embark could just have a gaming Goliath on their hands. My hopes are now very high for this game, and I can't wait to jump back into it. Thanks to Embark Studios for inviting me to the preview event so that I could make this video for you. Lastly, I'd just like to thank my buddies Demeister and Serpinger for their contributions to making this video, and I'll see you in the finals if you don't see my RPG first. There'll be lots more videos from me coming soon, so please subscribe. If you found this video helpful, please consider leaving a like. Thanks for watching, enjoy the rest of your day, kia kaha, stay strong.
Everybody knows the world ain't right. Down on your knees, get up and fight.